Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of the Ham and Spam Retro Review Podcast.
I'm Ham.
And I'm Spam. We actually just had
That's terrible. Mellow Yellow 0? Why would you choose Mellow Yellow to begin with and you get 0?
Tell my...
God.
Not only is it Mellow Yellow, it's also 0. Tell my wife, I don't know, she likes them better than she likes Mountain Dew.
Oh my God.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. Again, we're screwing up right out the gate.
we don't know what we're doing.
We really don't.
We're in over our heads.
But hey, I tell you what, we have gotten some feedback on the first couple of episodes, and we have been told to stop breathing because we're too loud.
Not stop breathing completely.
No, pretty much stop breathing completely.
Oh well.
So I've got the ambulance on 911 ready to go.
The ambulance is on 911.
We're gonna edit that part out. I got the ambulance on standby for when we stop breathing.
Oh, we get it. Sound quality is not the best, but we're working with very bare minimum.
Oh gosh,
equipment.
yes, guys. We started this thinking that hey, this will be easy. It hasn't been that easy. We've got to find a whole bunch of crap. So what we have done, we have moved to a much smaller venue. It's a smaller room within my house. It's a supply room that I call a game room. We've got plenty of stuff in here to try to take away some of the noise, and we did reduce the gain on the thing. I don't know. It's getting way too technical. We're trying stuff out.
We've got more equipment coming, better equipment. And we'll also try to lose weight so we don't breathe as hard.
Low carb diet coming Monday, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to live. Gosh, I sound like I just climbed a mountain.
Yeah, well, that's all the time.
Oh, God.
Anyway, guys, you're not here to hear us banter. If you are, God bless you, because it's pretty terrible sometimes. But we are here today to talk about Star Fox 2. But before that, we do want to plug our social media. We are now on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram at Ham and Spam Games. Mm-hmm. You can find us on Facebook. Like our page on Facebook. Shut up. We're Southern, remember? Facebook. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Ham and Spam. You can either use an ampersand, which is that little and symbol.
You're either going to find us or some delicious recipes.
Yeah, especially if you're in Hawaii, you'll probably find a delicious recipe before you find us. Assuming we have people in Hawaii that are actually listening to this. We're also on Twitter. Twitter is actually probably the best place to reach us at.
Yes.
That is Ham and Spam 1, the number 1. Ham and Spam and the number 1. Hammy doesn't want to plug the YouTube channel because there's nothing there yet. Literally nothing. But as soon as we kind of figure out what we want to do,
it's as bland as this Mellow Yellow 0.
As soon as we figure out exactly what we want to do as far as putting content together, we're gonna start putting some stuff on YouTube, some of our playthroughs.
It's coming.
And of course our hilarious banter that you hear here on our weekly podcast. We have done a little research and figured out that Sunday is the best day to drop. So we'll have new episodes every week on Sunday.
Every Sunday night.
That way you guys
available on the website and on iTunes.
Yeah.
And Podbean.
Podbean, which is where everything's posted, but it's linked to iTunes. The first 2 episodes are there live now, so go back and listen if you're just now finding us, and hopefully you'll stick with us. And as always, we welcome feedback if something's going on.
All. Good or bad.
Good or bad. So if someone's telling us that we're breathing too much, which we have gotten some of.
A lot of people tell me that all the time.
We've gotten some people say that the podcast could be shortened up just a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Which some of that will be done in editing, maybe, if we're lucky.
We're heavy-winded and long-winded.
And one other thing that we didn't do, we did not plug our website. We have a good friend of ours, Casey, who has stricken me from using his last name.
He doesn't have one, actually.
I guess not. Technically,
It's like
not.
Cher, just Casey. Hamandspam.com.
Hamandspam.com. Casey is the mastermind behind that.
Check it out.
There you can find all of our stuff. You can hear the intro music to our podcast. You can also find links to the podcast and all of our social media there. And of course, you can reach us. And at the end of the show, we're going to answer some questions that we got through the week.
Through our social media.
So,
what's our MySpace?
Is that still a thing?
I don't know.
Actually, it is. I think there's a lot of bands and stuff that go.
To tell you, Tom lost a lot of friends.
Tom lost a lot of friends. Tom's a millionaire.
MySpace is one of those things that just needs to stay in the past.
Much like probably this podcast very soon.
Hotmail. America Online. Saying www dot before the website.
Or www dot.
Have you seen the car commercials that still do that?
Yeah, I have.
Go to www.bobsbigbuicks.com.
You're obsessed with Buicks. Buick.
It's fun to say.
It is. So anyway, while everybody's here, I'm assuming anyway, is for our review of Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2 was just released last year in 2017.
You mean 2 years ago in 2017?
My God, it is 2019.
Yes,
Guys, I can't do math either. We're Southern, and it's Alzheimer's, and I can't do math.
They don't know we're Southern. How do they know that?
Probably our accent and the fact we said it in episode 2.
Yes. We're going to fix our sound quality, but we can't fix that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, y'all just going to have to either live with that or just move on.
I know we sound like extras on Walker, Texas Ranger. Any last words, Ranger? You'll never find them in time.
Yeah, I was a Ranger. Anyway, it was released 2 years ago on the Xbox. God almighty. I added that part out.
No, I'll leave it in. It's funny.
All right. Released 2 years ago.
On the Super Nintendo Classic.
On the Super Nintendo Classic as an unlockable game. So you had to play the original Star Fox and beat the first level to unlock Star Fox 2. Mm-hmm. There was a playable version in 1995 at a game show, and somehow or another it just got buried. This game was planned for release in 1996.
Why did they not release it?
Well, they canceled it. They canceled the entire game after its completion because they wanted to give a little bit of delay between Star Fox 1 and the new Star Fox 64 on the Nintendo 64. So Nintendo 64 came out in 1996, and 1997 Nintendo dropped Star Fox 64,
which was great.
Which was a great game. That's where I cut my teeth on Star Fox.
Yeah, I remember playing the first Star Fox when I was a kid, and it was just a bunch of shapes.
Right, and that's kind of what turned me off to it, and why even kind of today it's hard for me to play it.
It is. It's weird. It's like geometry.
Right, it's like the geometry game, exactly. But I honestly, I do slightly remember going down to your brother's house, and he had it, and you were playing it, and I watched that game for about 2 seconds and said, man, this sucks. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm not playing it.
It's odd because my brother never had a Super Nintendo, but okay.
Well, maybe you had your Super Nintendo down at your brother's, or
but
maybe
I never had Star Fox.
Maybe he stole it. I remember playing this game, or seeing you play this game.
Do you?
I question everything now. I hate you sometimes. Anyway, the gameplay from a look standpoint, a graphical standpoint, looks much like Star Fox 1.
Yep. Just a bunch of triangles and squares in space.
Yeah, it does a little different.
Something glows, shoot it.
Something glows, shoot it. They did introduce the charge laser.
Yeah. In
this, so that did help a little bit.
Well, wasn't it? Didn't it take like 30% of the game and transferred over to Star Fox 64?
They took 30% of this game from some of my research. They took 30% of this game and transferred it over to Star Fox 64. So, if you've played Star Fox 64, essentially, you've played 30% of Star Fox 2.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. Congratulations. If there's an achievement for 30% playing Star Fox 2, some 20 years before it actually come out, then you did it. Good job. Again, graphically, it looks about the same. The one thing that I severely struggled with, because it wasn't an actual joystick, I had struggled with the inverted controls.
It's inverted only.
Yeah, it's inverted only. You can't change it.
Not a problem for me.
Yeah, well,
I'm normal when I play inverted.
Because you're backwards. If it was the Nintendo 64 with the joystick, I could get that a little bit more. Because it's more like a flight control joystick. in a way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I distinguish the two. If I have to use my D-pad for anything, I can't do inverted. If I have to use my
Yeah.
if I use my stick for anything, that's what she said. Going back to gameplay, when we were playing, we did notice it was a pretty cool overhead map. You started on the home planet of Corneria, which is where you had to protect. And that's basically the whole synopsis of the game, is protect Corneria at all costs.
Yeah, there's constantly missiles flying at it. There's fighters coming at it.
Right. The Star Wolf.
Robot snake.
A big robot snake.
And those battle carriers that were coming that would annihilate it.
Right. So
take both those down.
The first playthrough, wasn't 100% sure what we were supposed to do, and Cornelia fell very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Because again, the fighters were coming. You have a percentage meter in the corner of the screen.
Filled up to 100.
Fills up to the corner. It's 100%. Once it gets to 100%, you fail the mission and it's game over.
Mm-hmm.
A cool thing that they did have, though, you could select. This is the first time they did the player select. So you could select any number of characters.
6 characters?
6 total. You had the original 4, which is Fox,
Falco, Peppy, and Slippy.
and then
yeah, Miyu and Faye.
Miyu and Faye.
Faye dog, respectively.
There you go. Still my line. Good job.
All the animals in the farmyard.
All the animals except for the chicken somewhere or another. I guess
it's probably in there somewhere.
I guess Falco takes care of the chicken. Anyway, we failed miserably the first playthrough, but by the second playthrough, we kind of had a better idea what we needed to do. So we went through, we destroyed the battle carriers, then we destroyed any of the missiles that the battle carriers had launched, then we were intercepted a couple of times by some of the Star Wolf people.
Yeah, killed them. We
didn't lose a man.
No. What's funny
we got super close a couple of times.
The first time we played through and we failed.
Right.
It's got a scoring system at the end. A through E. For some reason, E instead of F. And
because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah. We scored at E. So it's okay. Second time we go through, we beat it. We saved the planet. No one died, blah, blah. We get a D.
Yeah, we got a D.
So
which we
saved
played
the
on
galaxy.
normal.
You got a D.
There was, this is, I think, the first time I had seen a difficulty on it. So there was a normal, there's a hard, and then I guess if you beat it on hard, you unlock expert.
I imagine that's how the higher scoring comes in. If you beat it on expert, you'll get A's and B's.
Well, I struggled, obviously with the inverted, that made it a struggle, but with the higher difficulty, though, it's still going to be super, super difficult, because it wasn't very easy sometimes, just on normal.
Just shoot the glowing thing.
Well,
and let's go ahead and talk about Andros. The disappointment that is Andros. It was his face on the 4 sides of a box.
It looked like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
That's what we called it.
And then you shoot that open, and there's a mask. You shoot the eyes, and then there's another box inside that mask.
Right, and you shoot the box real quick, and then
explodes into cards. It's the same ending as Solitaire from Windows.
It really is. It really is the same as Windows. And I think you actually said that when we were playing.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, how are we going to end this? Explosions, stuff flying everywhere. I've been playing a lot of Solitaire lately. Just have cards fly all over.
You think they got the blue screen during development whenever that happened? It's crashed out.
They played on my old computer, yeah.
Well, one of the cool things that happened in that was when you kind of went into a temple, it was still the all range mode. And for you guys who've never played, all range mode is just
you're flying around.
You're flying around anywhere you want. You're basically in this big, huge square, and if you go outside the square, you turn around.
Yeah.
At least that's what it was in Star Fox 64. With this one, I never got the whole turnaround part of it. It just kind of ended the level. That was one thing too when we played through the levels. If you didn't stick with the fighter that you were trying to get, they would get away from you and get a head start going back toward Corneria.
Yep.
To help destroy the planet.
Yeah, and then do some damage.
Right.
Add to your percentage.
Right.
But you could transform.
You could transform. That's where I was going with that. When you went inside, you were still kind of in all range mode, but you were kind of limited as to what you could do. So you could push a select button, and you could transform into this walker. Kind of look like a, what would you call it?
A very terrible looking robot.
Yeah.
Looked like a triangle with two smaller triangles coming out of it.
Basically, but you could still shoot out of it. And to me, it was a little bit easier because it kind of went to a third person.
That shot dodecahedrons around.
Do you remember what a dodecahedron is?
Yes, that thing you shot out of that mech.
It's a 21-sided object, you idiot.
Well, that's what it was.
Well, that's what it was.
I counted them.
The walker mode did make it a little bit easier, and doing some research, I did find out that was kind of the beta, the beginning of the Landmaster tank
from Star Fox 64.
From Star Fox 64. So again, that's something else that they kind of used to implement.
It's part of the 30%.
Part of the 30%. There you go.
Now there's 70%, including those 2 extra characters. Just threw it right out the window.
Right
where it should have been.
Overall, though, with the game itself, I did enjoy it. If I was a completionist, I would probably really try to get that A.
If you were also a masochist, you would try to get that A.
Yeah, that is also true. But to me, though, it felt a little incomplete.
It did.
It was.
I was surprised to find out it was complete.
Well, I was too. Whenever it said it was 100% complete, but it's like
because it's short.
It is very short.
This podcast episode is gonna be longer than the game. You could start the game up when we start this podcast and have it finished before we end.
Yeah, you probably if you started right now at this very moment, and you can beat the game, hit us up on Twitter and say, yeah, y'all's really, really crappy podcast is longer than this really, really crappy game. It was pretty easy to beat, and I guess if you played it long enough, you could master it and try to get that A ranking, but
I don't know why you'd want to.
I don't know why you'd want to either.
You got several other better games on there, but hey, it's cool that they finally released it after 2 decades.
Yeah, a very nostalgic release. Because I think generally most everybody loves Star Fox.
Yeah.
Star Fox, the original, was obviously a bestseller. Then Star Fox 64 was another bestseller.
I would venture to say most people started with 64.
I would say so too, because that's really where my
introduced the Rumble Pack for N64 as well.
Yeah, that's where the Rumble Pack came out. This is not a Star Fox 64 episode though.
Yeah. Well,
so
rabbit trails, man.
Rabbit trails.
I see a rabbit, I chase it.
There you go. Soundtrack is about the same as the first one. Nothing. I mean, nothing stood out. So I mean, I know this is a really crappy review, and bear with us. We're really trying to figure out our format for this.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing. But nothing.
It's a really crappy game.
Nothing really. I was going to say nothing really memorable about this game.
Well, I mean, let me take that back. I would say it was a crappy game. It's just it.
Again, it felt incomplete.
It did. It felt like it fell short of what I expected it to be, and maybe my expectations were a little too high based on Star Fox 64, which I had the most experience with.
Yeah. Well, when you overshoot like that, you go from regular Star Fox to Star Fox 64 and then backtrack.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But I thought overall for the attempt for a 3D game, again.
Oh yeah, to be on Super Nintendo, that's
right.
impressive.
I feel like it maxed the system out and that it did a good job with what it could do with.
I mean, the 3D games don't age well.
They don't
Not as well
in
as the
general.
2D games, but yeah, like you said, to be on the Super Nintendo, that was impressive back then.
Right, and for them to release it and have enough faith in it to release it. I know it's not carrying the console itself.
Yeah, the name sold it.
Right. So, long pause for dramatic effect. Anything else about this game? I didn't play with any of the other characters.
No, we just
one
played
of the benefits of the other characters were
they had different power.
They had different power ups, but they were in groups of 2. So Fox and Falco had the same power ups. Peppy and Slippy had the same power ups, and then
Miyu
and Faye. They had the same power-ups. Now, don't ask me exactly what they were, because I don't... Miyu and Faye were faster. Peppy and Slippy had more health.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And then...
I'm agreeing. I don't really know, but...
No, that's what it was.
You sound convincing.
So, Hammy, in conclusion, how would you rate the game? Going forward, what we're going to do, we're going to try to rate games based on...
1 to 10 scale. 10 being great. 1 being...
Not so great.
Yeah. And I thought we could do different aspects of the game and rate it, but we'll save that for later.
Right. We're just going to do a kind of a rough what we kind of think about the game.
And I know it sounded hard on the game, But overall, I think I would give it a 6 out of 10.
Ooh, that's actually a pretty decent score. I was going to go 5.
Really?
Mine is because there's nothing memorable about the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So the sound, not that the sound quality was bad, but just if there's nothing memorable about the soundtrack, it's hard to give it.
I would say I was impressed by the innovation, considering the time.
Sure. You know, the 3D, the things that they threw into it to make it different than the first one.
Yeah, it's hard to debate, and it's hard to really, rate a 1995 game
That's just released.
Yeah, in 2019, it's hard to rate it very well, but thinking of it in terms as Super Nintendo, then it was impressive.
Right.
It would have been impressive then. I would have been all about it then. I would have probably tried to have gotten an A then.
Right, and replayability, I would put it pretty low as well. One of the things that I do want to say now, I'm not going to do a whole lot of ratings on graphics, because some of the stuff, obviously with a retro review, some of the stuff that we're going to be doing is old anyway. It's not going to hold up. Obviously today's graphics look way
3D
better.
Games do not hold up.
Right, but I will say this much: I didn't care for the graphics as much because it just kind of mimicked and I know the system and I know the time, but it just kind of mimicked what the original Star Fox was.
Yeah, more the same.
So, they might have changed a few little things. Obviously, some animations are going to change.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, I would probably go with 5.
5?
Yeah.
It's fair.
Because, again, like I said, it was kind of incomplete. There's nothing really that says, man, I've got to play this game again. It was that good. So.
Yeah, in replayability, back then, like I said, if I was a kid, I'd probably...
Yeah, because your parents probably dropped $60-something on a game, and they're going to say, all right, you're playing this.
And I think, now, here in 2019, after life and events have jaded me to feeling anything anymore, I just don't think I could replay it. I'm done with Star Fox 2.
I would probably play it just to see if I could do it, do any better at it.
I would play it to be like, hey, everybody, look at this game.
I don't know how I feel about it being a hidden game, though.
I think it's cool.
I mean, it's okay. It makes you have to play one of the other games, and then because it's something new, you want to play it. So it's got its place, I guess,
it does.
On the classic itself. So
it does, which was I like the classics.
So maybe I might raise it to a 5.5 just because of that.
There you go.
So we're pretty close. Well, right now, guys, we're at the end of the show. We want to once again plug our social media, our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, soon to be YouTube.
Yep.
Of course, you can find the podcast on iTunes.
Which they can all be found at hamandspam.com.
All the links to that can be found at hamandspam.com.
I do have a question.
Yes, we did kind of want to plug this a little bit. If anybody has any kind of questions, we're going to take questions here at the end of the show. If it's a question that is doesn't necessarily have to be related to what we're talking about, but just
anything. This is
just anything in particular.
This is a good question.
So send your questions to us, and we'll read them here on the show and answer them. So
and this comes from Twitter from Jeffro12.
Jeffro12.
He asks, "What's your favorite / least favorite controller from retro systems?"
Favorite controller from a retro system. Retro being, what we say, last gen back?
I would say 90s.
Okay. It's hard to go against the Super Nintendo controller because it's mimicked in every modern controller, minus the double joystick. You would probably, if you're going to go double joystick, I would probably have to go PlayStation 2.
DualShock?
The DualShock.
Yes.
It's hard to go against that. My least favorite, I guess because it doesn't hold up, the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, and that joystick was
the joystick in the middle, and you had some games where you had to hold it on the sides.
And trying to go back and play a first-person shooter on it is impossible.
Goodness, it is impossible, especially since you've gone from a 2-stick back to a 1. But I would almost put, as much as I love it from the nostalgia aspect, I would almost have to put the original Nintendo controller on it because the buttons weren't in a diagonal where you could hit them easier.
Yeah.
They were straight across.
Kind of uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable.
Square or rectangle.
The little rectangle, because, I mean, even
Sharp
now,
edges.
it fits, like, really, really close in your hands. You know, we're, I guess, a little more used to the bigger controllers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my favorite is going to be the Super Nintendo controller.
Okay, so we agree on that one.
Four face buttons, 2 shoulder buttons.
Yeah, it was the first one that had the 2 shoulder buttons.
First one to introduce that. My least favorite is going to be the Sega Genesis controller. Because it had 3 buttons. Why would you do 3 buttons?
Well, I was thinking about the Sega controller, but you're right. It did only have the 3 buttons, which the later ones had the 6. It had the X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever had the shoulder buttons that I can remember.
And competing against the Super Nintendo, and you played a lot of Mortal Kombat like I did, and you got 2 punches, 2 kicks, block. And what have you got on Sega?
High punch. Hold on, which one? It was high punch, low punch, and
I don't know.
you didn't have low punch. You had high punch, you had low kick, and you had high kick. And that was it on the 3 buttons.
So you're very limited. No block.
You had start.
So you had to go all the way over there.
Yeah.
And I'm moving my thumb over.
But I don't know how you pause the game if you had to push start. How did you pause the game in regular?
You didn't.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
You didn't, but it was so much easier to block. It was just a bad.
Well, this is why we're going to go back and review these games as well.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to give you based off of memory. Right now we're going based off.
And
of
this
memory.
is a good time to say we're going to review them on the original consoles as long as we can.
As long as we can, we're going to play the game.
I want to pay $300 for a rare game.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's limits, guys. There's limits.
Yeah, but we're not going to do this in ROMs. I mean, we've got the classic consoles, which have controllers that are comparable to the original.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're going to stick to the original consoles as well as we can.
Well, and I think too that we can even, say if we go back and we play the original Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on Genesis, we could even give a brief description on the remake, say on the Sega Classic for Xbox 360. Just real brief. Hey, it's the exact same thing.
There's a Sega Genesis Classic console coming out.
There is a Sega.
I already got mine pre-ordered.
Really?
Yes, I do.
It's going to have 80 games on it?
I have no idea.
I know they just released 10.
Yeah.
They said it was going to be 10, and obviously, I think you're going to have Echo the Dolphin, Vector Man,
Sonic.
I
bet you anything Sonic 3 is not going to be on it.
Probably not.
That's a shame. That is a shame.
It is. That's probably my favorite Sega.
Maybe they'll surprise us to be on it. I think we talked about that last episode.
We did a little bit. So go back to episode 2.
Yeah.
So in closing, guys, we hopefully provided a little bit better show this time.
Yeah. Oh, and we appreciate you listening.
We do. We absolutely appreciate you listening.
Any feedback, please tell us what we're doing wrong, what we might be doing right,
and what you'd like to hear.
Sound quality we know is an issue, but we're bare bones.
We're cheap, guys.
Yeah, we're cheap. We're working on it. We've got stuff ordered. We're gonna have 2 mics next time, maybe, hopefully, probably not. But we're working on that aspect of it. We're gonna try to quit breathing
as much as possible.
Yes, much without dying.
Without dying and needing an ambulance.
Oh well, I mean, you don't really need an ambulance if you're dead. It's Hearst territory.
It's a Hearst territory there. So anyway, guys, we appreciate you listening, and join us next time for episode 4. Till then,
peace.
Peace. We need a closing line.
Game on.
Bye, guys.